Everybody, I'm Felisa, and this video or this vlog is a review or another review of MMDT, or Married Men Don't Talk, and the title of that particular podcast was called What Women Want. And I'm not going to go through all of the points because, like I said before, those men do talk, and they talk a lot, and there was a lot of notes that I took for the last video, and I don't want this one to be super long. So I am just going to take the highlight reels and give you my perspective on listening to that podcast. As always, I have a disclaimer, which is that these are my thoughts alone, and take for what it's worth. But hopefully the information that I present will help you, or at least you'll agree with it. If not, what can I say? Anyway, here we go. So I listened to this podcast, and like I said, these men do talk a lot, and they're all over the place all the time. So it's kind of hard to extract different ideas and streams of thoughts and things like that. And and that's fine. I think that they have a safe space in order to discuss information and kind of bounce some things off of each other, and perhaps they wouldn't have the opportunity to do that. So I think that that forum is fabulous that they have access to that. But as far as what women want, I think that there is, at least for men, a lot of misconception, a lot of mysticism around the female mind. Like I've always said, one fundamental thing, that women think in shades, men think in colors. So men think very black, white, orange, green, and women are kind of like, no, that's not. That's more like a chartreuse, or that's more like a pastel pink, with a hint of fuchsia. And men are like, what the crap are you talking about? That's red. So I think that never the twain shall meet. I think that that's why it's very important for men and women to discuss exactly what the expectations are, exactly what they're looking for. And I think that for women, there was somebody that said that women kind of test drive men, and we try them on like shoes. I don't know about that. I think that every person, every human being kind of goes through phases, and you date, and that's the purpose of dating. And you get to know different personalities, what fits with yours, what doesn't fit with yours. I think that that's a part of the evolutionary process. I don't think that that's unique to women. I'm sorry, I just don't. I think that as time goes on, you get to know yourself, you get to know what you want, you get to know what you don't want, and a lot of that is shaped and influenced by the relationships that you have. And and it's also influenced largely by society, your faith, pop culture at that particular time, who's in your circle, etc., etc. And I don't think, like I said, that that's unique to women. So I'm gonna have to take a pass on that school of thought. We don't try on men like shoes and then just discard them if we don't like that pair. And that was a terrible analogy. Maybe it meant something else, but that was just a terrible analogy for me. And then I think too, one of the reasons that it's so different, someone did make an excellent point about women from, or their whole lives being, very cognizant and thinking about their wedding. Not all, because some women are like, I ain't never think about that. And I probably was one of those women who thought very deliberately about being married and having a family. And really, we can thank societal influences for that. From the time that a little girl is born, she is dressed in pink and told that she's dainty and soft, and she's given dolls and kitchen sets and pots and pans, and very much acclimated to the domestic. And little boys are given things that they can blow up and kill and maim and destroy and build and tear down and throw away, and all those kinds of things. And I mean, you see the disparity, and so little girls aren't really encouraged to blow up and do things that are dirty, because that's not girl-like. And little boys are not encouraged to take care of little baby dolls, because that's girl-like. And so as times have changed, and as roles have definitely evolved, and there's been a meeting in the middle in terms of what the expectation is for men when they come into a household versus the expectations of a woman when she comes into a household, and that it's more of a cooperative effort rather than traditional roles, although some families do maintain those traditional roles. But by and large, I think that we've kind of thrown those to the wayside. But that does nothing to mitigate the lack of understanding and awareness between the two sexes, and how we really have conversations and what we really are expecting one from another. I will say this in the interest of not going on ad nauseum about, their particular podcast and what my perspective is. This is my thought. Guys, if you really want to know what women think, ask her. She'll tell you. A lot of times we don't really come out and say, yeah, I want to be married and I want to have a family and I want to live here, there, and the third, because we know that that's intimidating. We know that that's scary for you. But rest assured that if you're dating a woman with a purpose, then that's really her end goal. There's no game to be played with that. And I'm not saying that all women are rushing to the altar. Some women are very content to date. And if that's the woman that you're with, she will let you know that too. She'll let you know that she's not looking for anything serious. Don't try to change her. Don't try to change her mind. If that's not who you want, then keep it moving. But I think that a lot of times what it boils down to is quite simply, a fair amount of game playing and a fair amount of speculation. And both of those together are disastrous in terms of their results. I think that we have to get to the point where we can at least have a conversation and stop trying to persuade the other person that what they really want is not what they really want. I will tell you what I want. Do not waste your time or your breath trying to convince me that that ain't what I want, especially at my age. I think that it's like, what you doing? I'm telling you that's exactly what I want. And for those things that may still be a little ambiguous for me, I'll tell you, I'm not really sure, but I know fundamentally the basic things that I need in my life, and I think that that's the same thing that most women need. And if I can, ladies, for one moment, suggest what those are to our men that may be watching. Security. We ain't trying to live in a shack by the river, and we ain't trying to do that. We would like to live indoors with running water and bathroom facilities. At least most of us. I'll go on record and saying I would like that very much, please and thank you. Number two, we want consistency. Do what you say you're gonna do, and if you're not gonna do it, don't say that you are. But empty promises and lack of consistency on things that are important and things that are of value to us is a good way for you to get curved, swerved, thrown to the wayside. We're not playing no games with that. That's ridiculous. Three, I heard on the podcast, the guys kind of debating the issue about the bad boy or the thug. I don't know about this whole thug thing because I don't really know too many women that's really, really, really desperate to go and try and put some money on somebody's books. And if that's your life, I ain't really trying to, judge that. But for the most part, I don't really think that that's on the top 10 list of things that we want to do. However, we do want a man who is able to be decisive. We like confidence. We like a little bit of swag. I know that word's kind of played out, but I don't know what else to say right there. But we like a man who carries himself as if he is the stuff and he's running stuff. Not us, per se. But, he can handle it. We need a man who can handle life. And sometimes if we get out of pocket, we might want them to handle us too. Now, listen, I'm not talking about putting your hands on nobody and talking to somebody like you crazy. But making a decision that is meaningful. Making a decision that it will benefit everybody involved. That's what I'm talking about, to really have the ability to lead. Very few people, with very few exceptions, have been able to come into my life and tell me what to do. I'm a very strong-willed woman. I'm very independent in my thinking. I'm very quick-witted. I'm very sardonic. And I'm a lot to deal with. I admit that. That doesn't mean that I'm impossible to deal with. That is a horse of a whole entirely different color. What I'm saying though is that I don't just bend and yield for anybody. So people who come into my life, or a man that comes into my life, has to know his value. He has to know his worth, and it's not my job to give him that. And so, when you're dealing with a woman who is very decisive, very much used to running the world on any given occasion, she needs to know that the man that she's dealing with can run the world too. And if she decides that she wants to step back for a minute and say go ahead, then he will be able to take over that position and lead effectively. Most women that I know don't have a problem with submission. Most women I know don't have a problem with falling in line and allowing someone to lead. But what you're not going to do is just be leading us all over the place and you don't have a destination, you don't have a purpose, and you don't have a plan. That is not going to work. So I don't know about this whole bad boy thing, but the confidence, definitely. The ability to not take no stuff, definitely. The ability to get things done, absolutely. That complements security very well, because a man like that is never broke and he is seldom without options. So you really need to understand the difference between that. We're not talking about criminality. We're talking about men who are able to take charge and decisively lead. My 2 cents on that. And in conclusion, I really think, like I said before, if you really have any strong urge or desire to know what a woman wants, especially the woman that you're dealing with, ask her. If she can't articulate that to you, first of all, check her driver's license, because she may be very young. And if she is very young, you're just going to have to give her a pass on that, because she hasn't had enough life experience to decide definitively what it is that she wants. She might be able to tell you what she don't want, but she may not necessarily tell you what she needs, what really is of value and of benefit to her, because she hasn't had the life experience. But if you're dealing with a woman who is over 35, she should know. And those have those ideologies, and that's been shaped and framed by the relationships that she's already had, the experiences that she's already had, and futuristically where she sees herself and how she sees you fitting into the picture. I don't know. For what it's worth, I think you need to get a game plan before you approach her. Oh, that brings me to my next decision. I mean, not decision, my next point. So, there was somebody on the call that, this just made me go, But he said that the reason that men play games is because women have an unrealistic expectation as to what it is that they want. And so, he just kind of goes along with it until he figures it out. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean, but guys, if y'all out there doing that, stop it. Just stop it. Don't adapt and become a chameleon based upon what you think that woman wants. That's ridiculous, because you cannot be an actor in the play of your life for the rest of your life. Eventually, you're going to reveal who you are, and eventually she's going to find out that she has been had, and she is going to be very upset about that, and you will pay the price for that. So yeah, don't do that. Don't get someone through dishonest and deceptive means. I just don't even really have the words for that. But anyway, that's my commentary, my take on what women want. Like I said before, I think that all of that could just be alleviated by just simply asking. My thoughts. But as always, if you have some feedback, leave it below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch y'all later on. Bye.